Welcome to Rimworld. Now, this is the second series that I'm doing now. The last one ended tragically, but that tends to be the way Rimworld goes. I never claim to be the best at this game. In fact, I never even claim to be good at this game. And I had a lot to think about. After losing the last colony, it was kind of a question of should I try again or should I leave it be? After all, I'm the one doing all the editing. I could change this and make it look like I'm the best person there is. I could go back, redo things, and nobody will tell the difference. But Rimworld is a roguelike game where you are expected to lose at least half of the games that you play. And I think if we were to ignore that, we would be ignoring part of what makes the game unique, special. It's part of the intention. I mean, one of the difficulty levels is even called Losing is Fun. It's really not. So, I'm not going to hide anything. I'm not going to pretend that I'm better at this than I actually am. I mean, there are some times where you just get lucky. There are some times when you get unlucky. Sometimes you make the right decision. Sometimes you make the wrong decision. And we are going to live with that. So now we're going to start a new colony. And we're going to do some more mods this time. There's a particular mod set out called Vanilla Expanded that I have absolutely loved because it adds in everything that you've always wanted in the base game. More furniture, more plants, more animals, more clothing, more weapons. Just everything that you already have, it just adds more of it. And there's even different scenarios. There's a medieval scenario, there's a western style scenario, there's even a future scenario now. And so, in thinking about what are we going to do next, that's what we're going to do next. So if we're going to look at the mods, right here is pretty much everything we're using, and we're going to be using pretty much everything from Vanilla Expanded. And that's going to be the entire basis for this run. In particular, we are looking at this one. Everything else is just content mods, and they'll add things to the game. This is going to change the entire flavor of the game. It's going to just nix right out the gate anything electrical. No electricity. Supposedly, we can still get electricity if we can pick up certain items. Tech Prof Sub-Persona cores specifically, but I've never gotten one before, so I've never seen if that'll actually work. I've added a few other mods that I don't usually play with. I added Giddy Up, which allows you to ride on animals, because I figured if we're going to be medieval, well, having animals was a big part of that. There's a lot of quality of life stuff, just things to make life in general easier. Workbench management, defensive positions if we get that far. Yeah, by and large, it's just going to be a medieval run. That's going to present its own problems though, because that means that in order to finish the game, there's only really two ways to do it now instead of three. We can host the Stellark if we choose to, or we can travel to the ship. I guess we'll have to wait and see. So we're going to go with a new one, and we're going to choose the Renegade Lord. This is specific for the Vanilla Expanded Medieval one, and it is incredibly hard. Because the first thing that's going to happen is we're going to be dropped into the world, and then we'll be attacked. We get no food, no supplies, except for a little bit of weapons and armor to hold off that first raid. And after that, it's just good luck. You're on your own. We even have our own storyteller. So, he's going to be the one that actually manages the research level, the factions. We're not going to have any of the advanced factions, so no one should be coming in with guns. We're going to go with Strive to Survive. And maybe a bit dangerous, but I'm going to go with commitment mode. The last one didn't crash, so I'm not too worried about that, and if it does, it'll be auto-saving. So, worst case scenario, we might lose a little bit of time in the event of just an epic level crash. I think it'll be fine, though. Seed. We'll randomize it a little bit. Tender? I guarantee that this will not be a tender run. I might be tenderized afterwards. And this is gonna take a minute. Actually, that did not take as long as I thought. Alright. So, first things first, we're gonna get a bit bigger map. And then we're gonna select a random place to start. The only thing that I'm going to specify for this run, being medieval, is that we have to have a growing season of 30 days. The reason for this is two. Number one, being medieval, if we end up way up here in the tundra, we're never going to make it. It's possible, it can be done, but as difficult as things are going to be already, it's just not going to happen. And the same thing's going to happen if we end up down here in either the deep deserts or the jungles, because the deep deserts will never be able to escape the heat, and everyone will die of heat stroke on day 2. And if we end up in the jungles, everybody will get malaria on day 2 and then die on day 3. So we're going to pick something that seems manageable, something that would seem realistic, a growing season of about half the year. So that's 40. That's a bit too generous. 20, never. 40, 40, 20, never. 20, come on. Somewhere. Give me a 30. There we go. 30 out of 60 days. And it's a desert. That is not exactly what I intended. However, I mean, I made the rules. 30 it is. We'll make the best of it we can. So who do we have here? Amy, the Vengeful Hunter. You look good. We'll probably keep you. Let's see. Teaz, the Hearth Tender. You've got a scar, but otherwise you seem fine. You're a childhood bully. Well, I might leave you behind. Nobody wants a bully. Childhood soul survivor. A non-violent wimp. Well, that's not helpful in combat, but I don't see any reason to leave you behind. Jojo, a malingerer. What even is a malingerer? Often feigns sickness in order to avoid his responsibilities. While resting in the sick hut, he told stories to the children. Oh, so in other words, you're lazy. Got it. Well, you are incapable of dumb labor. Does that come from this? Yes, it does. You're lazy. And a logger. You're actually really good. Who else do we have? Stew keeper with a peg leg. Yeah, we're not taking someone with a peg leg. And you're frail and you have asthma? Whom I know. Sorry, but those who fall behind get left behind. Alright, so our original 6 are actually pretty good. We've got some decent shooting, decent melee, so we'll be protected. We can cook, we can grow heal root right out the gate. Assuming, of course, in the desert we have anywhere to grow. And we have some intellectual, but being medieval, there's not a whole lot of research to even be done. Honestly, we'll start with pretty much everything we need, and after that, we don't really have to research much at all. So, let's go. This will be the part that'll take a minute. Now, I've done a few runs with this just to make sure that the mod pack itself works. I will be honest, I lost 4 out of 5 of them. I don't have a great deal of hope for this one. So, here we go. After years of serving under the unethical and immoral ways of the Rough Kingdom, you and 5 of your loyal subjects decided to defect and start anew. However, This decision didn't go unnoticed. A party in the name of your former kingdom is in pursuit in an attempt to bring you to justice. You see, they say justice, but they're coming to bring us death. And here we are. Wow, that is a disappointing map. So, things of note. We do have some ruins. We could deconstruct that for some early stone and metal. Actually, there's a lot of ruins all over the map. That's probably what we'll end up doing. Looks like we have sandstone. We have marble. Both of them are pretty soft rocks, but they'll do in a pinch. Is that it? Just sandstone and marble? Looks like it. Marble is the softest rock in the game, so we'll probably end up making walls out of sandstone and floors out of marble. Wood is going to be a precious commodity. Alright, let's get to work then. We know what's coming. So, let's clean this up a little bit. Get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this. Gone, gone, gone. Okay, skills. Melee. My best melee person is Amy. So, Amy, I want you to take the heavy plate, and I want you to take the longsword. And go ahead and grab yourself a helmet. Next, Smith. Grab yourself some regular armor. And a gladius. And a shield. And a helmet. And Jojo. No, this is not a reference. Grab yourself some armor. Grab a sword. Grab a shield. Grab a helmet. And let's see. Let's just turn everything on here except for the people who are just absolutely terrible at doing things. So, no wardening for you or you. No doctoring for you three. No cooking for you two. You'll poison everybody. No construction for you. Resources are going to be limited. Growing can stay. You can't really screw up growing. I'm going to leave you on since you have a passion in it. None of this crafting for you. Art. You're going to be the only artist. You're a logger, but you're an artist. Alright, and first things first, we're going to need shelter and, more importantly, food. Because the only thing we have is wine. And we cannot live off of wine. So, before the raid gets here, let's set up some growing zones. We'll get some very basic growing going. But we do have a lot more options. We have the vanilla expanded food and cooking, so we have lots more things we can grow. And depending on how things go, we may end up playing with most of them. For now, though, we're going to stick with the basics. We're going to need some rice, because it cooks fast, and some corn, because it grows a lot. And we'll leave this one as potatoes to keep us going in the meantime. Alright, let's let them go for a minute. And while we think about what are we going to build. So, we turn on these. This one shows us the terrain support. Anything that's in orange, we'll never be able to put stone on. So we're going to want to kind of avoid all that. And then anything in green or yellow is ground that we can grow on, which, as you can tell, is at somewhat of a premium. So we're not going to build on any of that. I suppose we could stick to the stone and just build around the mountain. It's not going to be terribly pretty, but it'll be efficient. And I think I can live with that. We'll make ourselves a nice mountain stronghold here, without actually having to dig into the mountain. So we're going to let them plant, and then we'll have them deconstruct all of this. Here comes the raid. So we knew it was coming. There's two people. One of them has a gladius. The other one just has a mace. The gladius is the only one I really had to worry about, and I think that means I know how I'm going to handle this. I'll separate my people into two. All my people with armor will take on the person with the gladius here, and everyone else who has their bare hands will handle the mace. So get ready, people. You over there, you right here. We'll wait for them to come down. Alright, here they come. Okay. You guys get that one. You guys get that one. Why are you over here? I told you to go down here. Oh, why? That's because you're nonviolent. Yeah, I forgot about that. My bad. Okay. So everyone is down. It looks like we took a couple of injuries. How badly are you injured? Just a bruise. That is perfect. You got a bruise too, but overall you are going to be just phenomenally fine. So, I want you to go pick up that gladius. You can take the mace. And then the rest of you are free. Something we are going to need real fast is going to be a place to dump these corpses. And I'm thinking over here is going to be a good place. Yeah, that should be more than enough. Low, clear, corpses, animals, and humans. So, haul that person away. Strip them. We can use those clothes. Finish them off. And now get rid of them. Yes, it's an ancient danger. I'm well aware of that. I knew that when I put that over there. Thank you for letting me know. Not sure how you knew that. After all, you guys are, like, you know, tribal. That's fine, though. Alright. We also want to get rid of this stuff over here. Most of the planting is done, so I'm not too worried about that. Now, normally on a run like this, the first thing I'd want to do is get bows up. So that we actually have something to hunt with, but there's not a whole lot out here. And, oh my god, that is a lot of predators. I have a feeling we're going to end up getting hunted soon. Okay, so that's everything there deconstructed. Let's get rid of these floors. So the only trees, and I'm doing air quotes for that, trees, are going to be the cacti. There's only 50 of them on the map. We'll harvest what we can from them for a little bit of wood. We'll need the wood for some benches and stuff. But we can make benches out of steel. And seeing as how we're tribal, we're not going to be making a lot of machinery. Steel will be just fine for a lot of these benches. We will, however, need the wood to cook. So I'm just going to lay these down where I can. We'll get these built. And we also are going to need a stockpile to start moving this stuff into. So, here's a stockpile. Start hauling stuff in. We don't need anything fancy. We do have access to pemmican, which is our one and only long-term food storage. I'll do one for everyone. This is a fantastic mod that we didn't have in the last series. But it allows you to automatically make just enough food for everyone. And it's one of the best mods since ever. Alright, so they're going to haul some stuff in. And I'm going to need to give them a place to sleep. We don't have beds yet, obviously. But I will just designate some spots for them. There. So that way they don't go sleeping out in the middle of nowhere. It's going to be a rough couple of nights at first. But that's part of the difficulty. And now that we've got some stone, there is something we're going to need, or else we're going to lose the entire game right off the bat. We need the Holy Horseshoe Pin. It can go pretty much anywhere. Let's put it right there. Yep, we're already showing signs of starvation. And that's not a good thing. Okay, so... we still need some wood for this. So, we're going to chop all wood on the map, except for this. Do not chop the anima tree down. I don't think we're going to use it, but if we do chop it down, it will scream in the minds of my colonists, and we're going to have enough problems as it is. Okay, well, that turtle's dead. And the hyena is bleeding out. So, in the meantime, here's what I think we're going to do. We're going to actually get ourselves a little bit of food right out the gate in the morning. We'll put down a butcher spot. Butcher creatures. This is not the best way to do this, but it is a way to do this. We're going to tell them not to eat any corpses. Nothing rotten. I'll leave everything else up, though, for the time being. We're going to be eating some raw food for a while. Because, while we do have some fuel in here, we can cook some meals. Food is just going to be scarce. Yep, everybody is starving now. Okay, and it died. So we can get those. We'll butcher those up. We'll get a little bit of meat. And we now have the Holy Horseshoe Pin. Praise be upon it. Okay. We have a butcher table. Good. So we can delete that now. Okay, they are out harvesting those. Everyone is going to be getting wet, and they're going to be unhappy. No, not that one. Not that one either. Here we go. So, I'm not going to touch any of this green. This yellow, however, I think we'll go ahead and build on. Which means that I will just roof over all of this. Or at least as much as we can. Just like this. That'll keep some of the rain off. But they're all going to be working outside, so they're going to be unhappy anyway. In the meantime, we're going to need more materials. Go ahead and deconstruct all of that. And once we get some sandstone, we can start working. You people, I need you to not bed rest. I know you're hurt, but, you know, we still have problems. 34. I don't know how much we can do with that. Well, how much do we have on the map? You guys were doing a pretty good job. 278. We should be able to make some bows. Okay, so we got that. Recurve bows. How much does that take? 40 wood. I'll be able to make a few of these. An alcohol binge because you're malnourished. Yeah, I'm sure you are. Is there anything else on the map? No, there is not. We need food. Meat amount. That emu's the best bet. Alright. Hard mode it is then. Ready? Stab it. Good. Alright, go eat that. And as a matter of fact, I want to make sure that you actually cook it into meals. So this time, do not eat the raw food. We may have to micro this a little bit. Okay. You're drinking wine. Who's my cook? Who's my best cook? Taze, the person who's in a daze. Fantastic. And now Taze is completely down. Lovely. Oh well, we still have somebody who's cooking. So there's that. Alright. Looks like no one is starving now. Let's see how long we can get that, or keep that going. Let's turn off this overlay, because that's getting gaudy. Rice will grow quickly enough. You just need to hold out for a couple of more days. And then once we can start growing... The nice thing about the starting crops that you get is by the time you actually get your rice harvested and replanted, your potatoes are just about done. By the time your potatoes are done, you almost have a second harvest of rice. And then by the time you harvest rice a third time and you get your second potatoes, the corn is already done. And by the time you get all three of those, you're set. You're pretty well set. Yeah. Looks like we got lots of steel. And we got some stone now. Not the stone that I wanted, but the stone that I'll take. Let's pull up these floors too. No, not smooth floors. Pull up the floors. There we go. Okay, and it already says we're starving again. Is there anything else on the map that we can eat? No, of course not. Just hyenas. Are there any close to the base? Not that I'm seeing. Of course not. They would all be on the other side of the map. I saw one back there. There's one there. That's Taze. Oh, looks like there's a few over here. Okay, well, I'm going to need everyone to gather over here then. If we're going to eat, we need to take these things out. Yep, we're going to take a few injuries here. Where's another one? I know there's another one over here. Right there. Okay. Go get him. And then go get him. And Richard, you can go. In fact... Oh, wait, no. I don't want to do that. Hold on. Let's make a space over here for animal corpses, but not rotten ones. And then Richard, haul that hyena back. All the rest of you, try to bring home the bacon. And Taze, you're vomiting, but that's because you're drunk. Please stop getting drunk. Actually, it's not going to be an issue because we're going to run out of wine. Oh, and you can't even get over here. Alright. You went to grab the wood instead of the food. Okay. Whatever. You do you. Alright, so we'll get our injuries taken care of. Hopefully no one gets any infections off of this. That is the danger. Because we have no medicine. And actually, now that I think about that, we have someone who's capable of growing heal root. So we should get a start on that as soon as we can. Now that I think about it. Only people who can sow it are going to, so I don't have to worry about the entire colony dropping what they're doing. Yeah, Smith will be the only one to really do it. Now, I wonder, we do not have tree sowing. That is something that we may want to research quickly. And that would allow us to produce our own wood. I think we have enough land here that we'd be able to make a pretty decent tree farm. It's a long-term goal, though. That's what I was worried about. Infections. Damn it. Dual infections. Alright. So, Blake, you're on bed rest. And my best doctor is Taze. Tend. That is the danger with these medieval runs, is that anything, any injury at all, could potentially lead to infection, and all infections are almost guaranteed to be lethal. I'm gonna be honest with you, Blake is pretty much dead. No relations, though, so nothing much to lose there. And you are my neurotic, uncaring... Yeah. So, from a social perspective, we're not losing much, but I still would rather not. Looks like we have food, though, for a while. And everyone is unhappy. Why? Ugly environment. Well, I can't really help with that. It's going to be ugly for a while. Slept on the ground, slept in the cold. Well, we're working on that. We got some limestone. We might be able to make some stone beds. But I do think it's more important to get a lot of this enclosed. Tough calls all the way around. I think that we'll go ahead. We'll use some of that limestone to make a bed. And we'll use it as a medical bed for Blake. We'll get a medical bed up and running. We'll get walls started to try and enclose this. Hopefully, this will get sewn by Smith. What are you doing? You're hauling limestone blocks. Okay, that's fair. I did tell you to build that. And we'll see how this goes. How are your infections doing already? Already they're major. Your left shoulder, your left hand, and we have no medicine, so we can't do anything. We can't try to remove your arm. And there's going to be no medicine on the map. No heal root. Yep, unfortunately, that's pretty much the end for that person. But who knows? There could be a miracle. I guess we'll find out when we come back to Rimworld next time. Till then, don't do like she did. Instead, you take care.